beginnings of the rise of Prussia lie with the Teutonic Order, a Catholic holy order created in the aftermath of the Third Crusade. The order was originally a hospital service known as the Brethren of the German Hospital of St. Mary, founded after the Siege of Acre in modern-day Israel. It was later legalized by Pope Clement III. The Teutonic Order became militaristic, fighting with other Catholic orders in the area, like the Knights Templar. The infighting aided in the eventual loss of Acre to Muslim forces in 1244. The Knights moved their headquarters to Venice, where they remained active in the Levant. When asked for assistance by Duke Conrad of Mazovia against the pagans of Prussia and Lithuania, they moved their focus towards religious conversion of Eastern Europe. The Duke agreed to grant them all territory they conquered in Prussia. Hermann Balk, Grand Master of the Order during this time, led the Teutonic Knights into battle against the pagan Prussians. They continued to advance, eventually transitioning into a sovereign state with land holdings. They warred against the Poles and Lithuanians until they were secularized and vassalized by the Kingdom of Poland. In 1525, Albert, the Grand Master of the Teutonic Order, converted to Protestantism and transitioned the order into a secular nation-state, the Duchy of Prussia. The duchy was vassalized by Albert's uncle, Sigismund I, King of Poland. Eventually the duchy was inherited by the Margrave of Brandenburg, who ruled the two territories under a personal union. It wasn't until 1701 that Brandenburg and Prussia were formally united into the Kingdom of Prussia by Frederick III. In 1701, in the midst of the Great Northern War against Sweden, Prussia became a kingdom under the leadership of Frederick I. Prussia would go on to defeat the Swedes, adding more territory to their empire. Prussia later launched a military invasion of Silesia, which was under control of the Austrians. The Prussians used the pretext of illegitimacy against Austria's first female ruler, eventually defeating the Austrians after more nations joined the fight. Prussia later gained territories to the south in Poland after the fracture of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. During the Napoleonic Wars, Prussia was allied with the French, but later turned against them and were defeated. After their defeat, Prussia was able to make some crucial military reforms that allowed them to prevail against Napoleon in the War of the Sixth Coalition, but not before Napoleon had dissolved the Holy Roman Empire. The dissolution of the Holy Roman Empire allowed Prussia to dominate the lesser German states, gaining more strength in their conquest. After defeating the French in the Franco-Prussian War of 1870, Prussia united the smaller German states into the German Empire.
The foundation of the Teutonic Knights was rooted in Christianity. Henry de Walpole was the first leader of the Teutonic Order, as he led the organization from being a hospital to later being a military force as well. The Teutonic Christians also had their own ideas about religion. Teutonic Christianity proceeded to liberate the human mind. When Prussia rose to power, they brought back the Teutonic Knights once again under the Order of St. John. King Albert was a Lutheran Protestant who combined the Prussian territories into the Duchy of Prussia. The Duchy of Prussia became in a personal union with Brandenburg when Sigismund married a granddaughter of Albert. Later in the 17th century, Frederick I was known as the Soldier King because of how high he put Prussia militarily. When he died on August 17, 1786, he passed the power down to his son Frederick II, also known as Frederick the Great, who was not known to be as forceful with the military. The Holy Roman Empire had been led by Austria for most of its history, giving Austria power over the lesser German states, including Prussia. When the empire was dissolved by Napoleon in 1806, it allowed Prussia to expand further and more quickly than it had previously. Eventually, after defeating the French in 1871, the Prussian kingdom unified Germany under its leadership, and the German Empire was born. The German Empire and Prussia both had a strong sense of nationalism. For both countries, this nationalism originated from militarism, which is pride for one's military. This is especially true with the German Empire. Since the German Empire did not have very much culture, it relied heavily on its strong military and its appreciation of it for a source of national pride which they attained from Prussia.
The Teutonic Order was also joined by hospitals, such as the Hospital of the Blessed Virgin at Jerusalem, which caused the Teutonic Order to rename themselves the Teutonic Knights of the Hospital of the Blessed Virgin at Jerusalem. The foundation of the Teutonic Order caused many different groups to come together to fight under one name. Originally a hospital and not a full-fledged fighting force as well, the earliest record of the Knights is around 1190. On September 9, 1309, the Teutonic seized East Prussia, a major step in the beginning of becoming a major fighting force. The order had also seized control of Vistula and Memel, part of Livonia, and Samogitia. In fact, the Teutonic Knights were such a large fighting force that the Pope tried to combine them with the Teutonic Knights and the Hospitallers, but much objection was raised by the Teutonic Knights as they believed the only goal of the other organizations were to take Palestine. 1525, the Duchy of Prussia became the first non-Catholic state. Their eventual wealth and power was extremely vast and well known. Frederick the Great's encounter with war included the 30 Years' War, which was from 1618 to 1648, and the Silesian Wars, 1740 to 1763. The Silesian Wars involved Prussia and Austria over the control of Silesia, which is a region of land located between the Austrian Empire and the Prussians, that ended in the Prussians defeating the Austrians in all three wars. Within the reign of Frederick I and II, Prussia earned Silesia and the Huguenots' land area and more of the surrounding land areas. Rising tensions between Prussia and Austria culminated in the War of the Austrian Succession in 1740. The Austrian emperor had no male heir, and his daughter was going to become empress under a special agreement with the princes of the Holy Roman Empire. When the emperor died, the Prussians reversed the agreement and attacked the Austrian-controlled territory of Silesia. After the French joined the fight against the Austrians, Prussia was able to emerge victorious. The final encounter came in the 1866 Austro-Prussian War, which would change the map of Europe dramatically. When the Prussians defeated the Austrians again, it was clear that Germany would be led by a new northern power, the Kingdom of Prussia. One of the great leaders of the upcoming Germany was Otto von Bismarck. Bismarck was first recognized when he led a revolution to restore the monarchical regime that had existed in Prussia. In 1861, King Wilhelm I appointed him as Chancellor of Prussia. Bismarck believed strongly in unifying the German states together, which he accomplished in 1865. Against much opposition, Bismarck set up the German Reich.
Many of the members of the Teutonic Order were not all from the same area, which helps identify that this was not an organization that relied on the status of a certain group of people. The knights were required to share bedrooms and possessions with their fellow peers, as resources were limited at the time to the certain group of people. The general social classes of the order included the knights, priests, and other brothers, while the higher-up members of the group included the Grand Master, Grand Commander, Marshal, and Quartermaster. As a young boy, Frederick II started out appreciating music and poetry, not war and leadership like his father. When he was young, he defied his father, Frederick I, by running away and seeing his partner, Hans, who was later beheaded because of this event. Frederick II, though, was not killed, since he was the king's son. He changed the past generation's thought on religious issues, civil issues, judicial issues. He created new ideas of architecture, religion, music, art, education, and sexuality. The cultural diffusion of Prussian virtues of order and discipline were crucial to the rise of Prussia. The virtues contributed to a warlike culture which would result in Prussian dominance of other German states. Prussia created a national German identity around their own, creating a nationalist spirit which would propel them to the First and Second World Wars.